Hey skiers, I'm Jeff from skiessentials.com. Welcome to our 2025 ski test. Today we're talking about the new K2 Reckoner 102. The name has carried over from 2024 and years prior, but the ski has changed. So the overall theme remains the same. This is a really playful, fun-loving, soft flexing, free ride / all mountain / park twin tip. And I love skiing this thing. It is so much fun. I've always been a big fan of the Reckoner 102. It's such a cool ski. It has always had a very soft longitudinal flex pattern, but then has like really good torsional stiffness, so you can like bend it into really cool turns, and then it's just a blast in the terrain park. And I think a lot of people felt that way about the Reckoner 102 over the past 3 years. The downside of that ski was we did see some issues with durability. There were a number of Reckoner 102s that came back with some damage. And, you know, it's not tremendously surprising because people that choose this ski are generally pretty hard on their equipment, sliding rails, bonking trees and rocks and stuff like that. And chances are you're going to get some damage. But K2 really wanted to increase durability on this ski, and I think they did a really good job. So to start, we have an Aspen wood core. It's an Aspen microblock wood core in this ski. And then we get triaxial braided fiberglass, and we get carbon boost braid. Those are things found in skis like the Omen 90 and Omen Team. What this ski has, it also has spectral braid. So that's kind of another cross-hatching application of carbon. In the previous generation of this ski, you could kind of see it just under the top sheet, and just with some changes to top sheet materials and stuff like that, you can't see it anymore, but that's how K2 is able to control torsional stiffness in different portions of this ski. And I talked about them wanting to make this a little bit more durable. This is a 177 centimeter length and comes on the scale at just about 2,000 grams exactly. So I think the previous ski in this length was closer to 1,800, might have been like 1,820. So we did get, say, 150 to 200 grams heavier per ski, but it's not like too heavy in my opinion. You know, I actually kind of like this weight for a park ski, and there are going to be varying opinions out there, but sometimes I like feeling a little bit of swing weight when you're spinning around and doing tricks and stuff like that, because it feels like you have more to kind of work against. That might not make sense if you don't participate in the same things that I do when I go skiing. So a little bit heavier, but still very soft. It is one of the softest flexing skis that you will find. There are only a handful of skis that I could think of off the top of my head that are softer than this, and they're not much softer. So that's really what gives this ski its kind of unique feel and unique performance. It's just so soft and so supple and so easy to manipulate into a variety of different things. Rocker camber, rocker shape. Really nice progression of shapes in the K2 twin tip line now. You know, obviously they don't share a name, but say if you were to look at Omen 90 to Omen Team to then Reckoner 102, as you go up in width, they get more and more tip and tail rocker. It's not a completely symmetrical ski, but the rocker profile is pretty darn close. That side cut is 134, 102, 127. So like I said, not perfectly symmetrical, but also not too far off either. So ski is really well switch. Feels very balanced for swing weight when you're spinning and stuff like that. So just a blast to ski. It has its limitations. Maybe that's a good place to start. So if you're looking to rail carving turns on high speed on groomers or firm snow, you can look elsewhere. There are hands down better skis from that. You'd probably be better off with like a Mindbender TI, one of the various Mindbender TI models. This thing, on the other hand, loves to just cruise, and it does make some really cool round carves. You just have to be like pretty careful with how you're weighting. So some skiers that are really comfortable and prefer driving the forebody of the ski to initiate a turn, they might find that they're just kind of over flexing the forebody of the ski, kind of folding it right here. You just have to stay really centered and balanced and kind of just roll up onto your turns, and then it can make some pretty darn cool turns. Really, really agile in the trees and bumps and stuff like that. The soft flex pattern just makes it like absorb little varieties of the snow. Works really well for how I like to ski. And I would say for having a more centered mount point, even if you go on midsole, not all the way up to team, you're still pretty centered and have a lot of ski behind you. And just with like that kind of supple give to the flex pattern, it doesn't feel like your tails are catching as you try and swing them around. And then in the park, it is just so much fun. I mean, there are other skis that I really, really like, so it's hard for me to use words like best or favorite, but it's also hard for me not to use the word favorite in describing this as a park ski for my own personal needs. It is so much fun. I probably skied park a little bit better on this ski than anything else I skied all of last season. So I don't really know what better compliment to give it than that. But again, I'll remind you that it's not for everybody. So if you're a really big skier, that's a good one to kind of throw out there. Or if you're just like really raw and aggressive and like powerful, you might need something with a little bit of a stiffer flex pattern. Even the Omen Team and the Omen 90, they might be more supportive for a skier like that. Reckoner 102 prefers some amount of finesse and kind of not necessarily easy going, but a little bit of refinement in your park skiing, I think, is important, whether you're landing on a jump or whether you're buttering or pressing or ollieing or something like that. So absolutely great skis. The one thing I didn't talk about that I should have is they kind of wrapped the top sheet a little bit in all their twin tips for 2025, which is 100% going to help with durability. And I skied this thing pretty darn hard last season, and the pair that I have isn't showing any major signs of damage. So that's it. That's the new Reckoner 102 from K2. I think they did a great job. Let us know if you have any questions, and we will see you out there on the slopes.